Here's an uncomfortable truth. Many of us brush off barking as just what dogs do, but in reality, it's often their way of shouting, "Pay attention, something's wrong here." And here's where it gets controversial. If you're not paying attention, you might be dismissing a real issue, whether it's physical pain, emotional distress, or even something dangerous in their environment. So before you write it off as annoying, let's dig into what your dog might actually be trying to say, and why ignoring it could be a huge mistake. First, let's talk anxiety. A study published in Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that nearly 20% of dogs suffer from some form of separation anxiety. If your dog barks excessively when left alone, this might not be just an annoyance, it's their version of a panic attack. You'll often notice other signs like pacing, drooling, or scratching at doors and windows. Think of it this way. If your dog barks and looks back at you with wide, anxious eyes, or whines between woofs, they're not being dramatic, they're asking for help. Barking can also be a cry of physical discomfort. Dogs are tough and often hide their pain, but if they're barking more than usual and seem restless, it could signal an injury or health issue. According to research in veterinary medicine and science, dogs often use vocalizations to express pain, especially when they can't communicate it any other way. Watch for signs like limping, licking one spot repeatedly, or changes in their eating habits. Your dog can't say, "My hip hurts," so barking becomes their voice. And ignoring it could mean overlooking something serious. Then there's boredom, which might seem harmless but can lead to behavioral issues if left unchecked. Dogs need mental and physical stimulation. Without it, they'll create their own fun, and that usually involves barking at every leaf, car, or shadow that moves outside. If your dog's barking feels random or restless, it's a sign they're craving more activity. Interactive toys, puzzles, or even just a long walk can help burn off that pent-up energy. But here's the kicker. A bored dog can quickly turn into an anxious dog, creating a cycle of frustration for both of you. Frustration is another big reason dogs bark, and this one's on us. Ever notice your dog going crazy at a squirrel they can't chase or barking at you when you're busy in another room? That's frustration barking. It's usually higher pitch and paired with jumping or fidgeting. They're saying, "I can see it, but I can't get to it," or "Why aren't you paying attention to what's happening?" And while it might seem harmless, ignoring this kind of barking can escalate the behavior over time. Here's the part people often overlook. Dogs don't just bark to annoy you. Sometimes they're trying to alert you to something important. I'll never forget when my dog, Max, wouldn't stop barking at the window one afternoon. I thought he was just being dramatic about the neighbor's cat again. But when I finally looked closer, I saw he was fixated on a bird with a broken wing. He wasn't barking for no reason. He was trying to tell me, something's wrong. It was a wake-up call that dogs are often more in tune with their surroundings than we give them credit for. But here's where it gets tricky. Not all barking is a crisis. Some dogs bark out of habit, excitement, or even just to join the neighborhood chorus of barking dogs. The key is learning to decode the tone, frequency, and context. Does it sound urgent or panicked? Is it tied to a specific trigger? Are there other behavioral clues like whining or pacing? If the barking feels out of the ordinary, don't just brush it off. Investigate. Your dog might be trying to tell you something you can't see. Think barking says it all? Your dog's actions, like pushing past you in doorways, might be saying even more. Check out the next video to uncover the hidden meanings behind this behavior. It could totally change how you see your pup's communication style.